Hey guys, it's Eric Conover from Nerdy Geek Talk, source for all your nerdy geeky needs, here with episode 2 of TFPrimecast. Joining me today are John. How are you doing?
Doing pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm doing pretty great. And Aaron, how are you?
It's a good thing you delayed this by 15 minutes because I ended up having to finish one of the episodes.
Nice. That's actually kind of what I was doing too, so. But that's okay.
Wow.
I've had a
I was
lot.
the good person
I
in
have a
the
lot today.
podcast.
Yeah, the person who. Well, in all fairness, you're the only one who hasn't seen it too, so there
Yeah.
is that. But,
I
do
watched
you.
it like 3 hours ago.
Yeah, that's
I
fair.
watched it like 20 minutes ago.
But we are covering episodes 4 and 5, the two last parts of Darkness Rising, the 5-part opener of Transformers Prime. So let's get into episode 4. So basically, this is just resolving everything that was set up in 3, where the humans and RC, Bulkhead, and Bumblebee storm the Decepticon ship, while Prime and Ratchet face down against Megatron's undead army that he raised on Earth. So that's a pretty good summary for the first episode. Yeah, there's nothing
Yeah.
else super important. Everything else happened in the fifth. So getting into it. So the first thing I have is the humans didn't detect like massive energy spikes or a fight going down during the
Yeah,
massive zombie raising.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, in all
That's
fairness,
everything.
it's in the middle of nowhere, so like there is that. But I still feel like when you're raising
That would
a
cause an
cyber,
earthquake.
yeah, that's something. So just putting that out there.
Something I found interesting with this scene is that Megatron very clearly states that he is symbiotic with them and he can control them. And I go, but if you're symbiotic, one, why are you not feeling any damage? And two, symbiotic means it's like a balanced relationship usually. One needs the other to survive.
Actually,
So I
no.
was like,
Symbiotic means that they both benefit.
okay,
Technically,
well,
That's pretty
biology.
much
Megatron's
the same thing.
Megatron's like not totally. I mean, he's benefiting by controlling them, but like usually when two things are connected symbiotically, they'll
It's
feel pain of
it's
each
not
other.
symbiotic. It's no
Yeah,
no.
that's what I'm saying.
Symbiotic is okay. So symbiotic is like a giant like whale swimming around and a little fish inside of it that like cleans its teeth. It eats like the stuff. Like
Yeah, like
that
something
is
happening to the
symbiotic.
other would affect it. Like I didn't. I
Yeah,
thought it was very
he's
interesting
totally. He
that
says symbiotic. It's a parasitic relationship. Well, because
yes,
one thing is just off straight off. They're dead, so they don't have minds. So I don't know if it even counts as a relationship. But it's parasitic because he's just using them. So
yeah, because like Megatron saying that makes no sense as well because it's like usually when one is taken away, the other can't totally function, but he's filled them with dark energon, so they would still continue to function afterwards. Like some function would be lost when one part is lost, but neither would lose either function if one is gone.
uh
So
what I found interesting that was said during that scene was I forget who said it. I think it was Prime. Is that ancestors? That they're their
yeah,
ancestors? No, it was Ratchet. He said they're desecrating
Ratchet.
our ancestors. They're not. They already specified that this was a battle that happened during the war.
Yeah, which was very
The
interesting,
Great War,
and
which is a war that literally Prime and Megatron led against each other.
which was like
Unless they're
4 million
talking,
years.
yeah, unless they're talking about some ancient war before that, but they're definitely not
Well,
because they specifically
they
call it the Great War, which is
yeah, well, they do
theirs.
reveal other stuff like later on in the series about Transformers and Earth, but I don't think it ties into that way too early on. So
No, no, but what I'm saying is that they specifically called them their ancestors when Optimus
yeah,
Prime was in charge of the Autobots at that moment. Like, unless you sent a bunch of old dudes there that fought, that literally were your ancestors at the time they were even alive.
yeah,
Just saying
who
that
knows?
is a slight plot hole, actually. So just want to point
Yeah,
that out. Also, why didn't
What's
Ratchet start fighting at the beginning? He waited like Prime's doing all the shooting and stuff, and Ratchet's just like, oh man, and then
I
Prime's like, ground bridge out of here, and he goes, no, I'm gonna fight swords. Like, why didn't you just fight to
also
begin with?
he's like Megatron's desecrating our ancestors, and then he's like, I'm just gonna like. I get that he's fighting for his life, but he like doesn't hesitate at all to just dissect them. Like they very much
Um,
established that Ratchet has a problem with it, but then he just goes right into it essentially the
actually,
moment he feels it's needed.
you know what's kind of interesting is that our two problems kind of solve each other. Is that me complaining that he just did
Yeah,
nothing to
that's
the beginning?
true.
Yeah. So in all fairness, I think that our problems just fixed each
Yeah,
other,
they
kind
cancel
of.
each other out.
So
All right.
that's funny. Way to go, us. Um,
There we go. We're
and then
solving things. We agree for once.
yes. Um, Next thing is I love hand swords. That's a thing in this show, and man, I love hand swords. I think, yeah, I'm not. I don't know. Why I said Bumblebee. Ratchet and Prime are the only ones that have sword like hands. Like their hands literally go inside their arms and swords pop out.
Yeah.
RC has like wrist swords. Bulkhead has a, what do you even call that?
Wrecking ball.
Yeah, like a spiked wrecking ball hand.
I would say no. It doesn't. It doesn't work like the cartoon or like the animated Bulkhead. So I guess this time it's more of a mace.
But it doesn't swing.
His arm is the swing thing.
I mean, I guess. But Bumblebee doesn't have a melee weapon. I just realized that.
He's really good with his fists, as established earlier.
He actually is. So, but yeah, RC has the arm blades, which I do kind of like.
Optimus has, or Megatron has the blade that pops out, and he's like, shh.
Yeah, we saw that in the second episode, but we get to see that more in the episode with Optimus, that fight in the fifth episode, which I like. But yeah, I just want to point out, I love limb swords. Do any of you have anything for that fight else?
I thought it was one of the, not, I did like the, or wait, I don't, no, this isn't until a little while from now, so never mind.
Okay, I like that fight, but that's pretty much all I have for it.
Yeah, no, my comment on the rest of the fight is later on, because I'm looking at the order, because I wrote all my notes in the order of the episode. It's after a couple other scenes, so.
John, do you have anything else for that, or no?
Not for that one, but I have stuff for the other ones with the with Bulkhead and.
Yeah. So basically, I just wanted to point out that literally upon this fight starting, where it moves into Bulkhead and them fighting the Viacons, is that Viacons equals stormtroopers.
Yeah, they are the worst shots ever.
They're terrible shots. They don't make sense. They don't do anything right. They're just there.
They've always, but throughout the series, they make for fun little characters.
Oh yes, especially isn't Bob one? Am I getting?
I don't know. No, the joke is Steve.
Steve. Yes, Steve.
That's what the community calls him.
Viacons?
Yes,
That's
Viacons. There's a joke that there's one named Steve.
Yeah.
Yeah, the design of them remind me of the Cylons from Battlestar Galactica. Just the design.
Huh. Well, yeah.
The reboot Battlestar Galactica, not the original.
Okay. But in function, they are literally stormtroopers. Like, they are awful.
Yeah.
Original trilogy stormtroopers, not first order stormtroopers. Those are slightly better. But that's just a little nerd thing. Next thing I have is, how did Miko hide in Bulkhead? And one, he didn't know. Two, she didn't die.
That's my comment. That is literally my comment. Miko somehow doesn't die inside Bulkhead.
Okay, so, like, I get maybe not dying if he was aware of it. Like, maybe he'd be able to shift
But he
around.
wasn't.
But he wasn't. And
he straight jumped and elbow dropped someone. Like, he took flight during that fight.
yes.
So,
And then he just opens up his chest, which I actually thought was a neat thing that, like, they can just open up their chest, because I feel like just my little
everyone
head
holds the Matrix.
Yeah, exactly. It's like everyone can hold the Matrix. It's totally a headcanon thing that's never established, but if everyone can open up their chest, what do you think that's for? Just saying. What were you going to say, John?
Yeah, how did he not see her not getting out? Like, he would totally notice, like, one of them just staying inside of him.
You're right.
I mean, it makes her a fun little gag, I guess.
Yes. In all honesty, these episodes kind of make me really frustrated with her.
I do like the delivery of the line where he's just like, Miko? Like,
yeah,
that delivery
I
was
liked
really
that,
good.
but it was just the logic of the whole thing. But yeah,
oh, the logic was so skewed, but I liked the delivery of the line.
The line was just, Miko? Yeah, you're right, that definitely was good. Oh, so next thing is whenever they're inside, and then that's when Bumblebee and RC finally get there.
They just kind of show up out of nowhere?
Well,
like...
that actually makes sense, because they had to get back to base and then ground bridge there. Plus, they already, like, she literally said, thanks for clearing the front door, but why are you here?
Yeah.
So, like, I did get that. I actually really appreciated the little bit where, after they rescued them, they both turned the corner and pointed their guns at each other, and they were like, friendly. Like, I actually
I just thought it was interesting that, like, I think they came from a different direction than the others came in. That's why I was like, huh, that's interesting.
In all fairness, the inside corridors of Decepticon warship
That's very true.
It makes no sense.
And the camera was moving so fast because
exactly.
for some reason in this episode, Bulkhead just moves really fast.
Yes, I noticed that.
Like comically fast.
It was weird.
Yeah.
But I liked how they actually pointed their guns at each other as they crossed through the hallway, because I feel like that's something that in like literally fiction in general is almost never regarded. Is that like you'll have two good guys in an enemy base or like situation, they're constantly just like killing people, and then their friend walks out from the side of the corner and they're just, oh hey man, like, but they're never like, oh, is that an enemy? I just appreciated that small thing where it was like they actually pointed their guns at each other and they're just
just
friendly.
this warrior sense, like they're on
yes.
guard because they're in enemy territory. It's really good.
So I liked that. I thought that was a neat little
And then
thing.
this led it into when BNRC show up. This leads into one of my favorite things about this episode. The next scene where they have the angle fully focusing on Raph, and it's looking up at the fight, and the audio fades out slowly, and it's just kind of like Brian Tyler's music.
I like
This
that a
episode
lot.
is so like dynamic in its movements. This episode and episode 5 are very dynamic in the little movements, and I think it looks amazing. This episode especially, though, I think this one is the best looking episode of all 5.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
I think
I have that
my
in my
favorite's the
notes.
5th, but I really did like that scene. I was curious. I never remembered that sound where the sound just cuts out.
Yeah, I never noticed that
I did
until
not.
I rewatched it.
I did not remember that, and I've watched this show before, like several times, so I did think that was interesting. I did not remember that, but I really liked it. So.
Brian Tyler's score was amazing for that too.
Uh-huh. And I did think it was interesting that they were literally tossing around body parts during that too. Like they were dodging a head, an arm, and then a leg. Like they were actually getting body limbs thrown essentially at them. And I was just like,
such a well shot scene. Like it's so dynamic. The choreographing is great on it. The camera angle, like I don't normally like fisheye lenses for that kind of stuff, but it kind of worked there.
Yeah,
it worked in its favor.
And then poor Fowler, because he was getting electrocuted and stuff during that, which I was like, man, that torture is actually seeming somewhat intense. Like you could actually tell that was hurting, and I was like, ooh, this is torture. But
he ends up in that situation multiple times though throughout the series, and that's the thing.
Is it ever that bad though? Because it seemed pretty bad.
I don't think so. They went. I mean, with some stuff, they really went all out in the first 5.
Yeah.
Like I said, I would argue that that episode 4 is also one of the most dynamic episodes of the series. And it's probably a stretch to say. It's been a while since I watched everything, but no, I mean, like, the way they show the humans' movement, like, they never go that, like, when...
I would agree with you for first season for sure, maybe even second season, but by Beast Hunters, I'd have
Yeah,
to
by
say
Beast Hunters, but, like, with the humans, they never really focus or get too close with the humans, but, like, when they're working on the computer, and, like, especially in episode 5 as well, I'll bring it up there as well, the movements of the humans are just so very fluid, and the camera angle is so just down to earth with them, and focuses on them, that I'm like, we don't really see that in the rest of the show, really, unless it's a human-based episode.
Yeah. John, were you going to say anything else about that scene?
Yeah, I wrote that in my notes as the Saving Private Ryan scene, and it also it reminded me of the one scene in, I believe it was the first movie where what's his name, Sam, was like in the middle of the battle and explosions were happening because Michael Bay, and they were like flying over him in the middle of a battle kind of thing.
Oh yeah, I think I remember that. Yeah.
I think that's literally in
And it was
every
in
movie.
slow motion.
The one I'm thinking of is Revenge of the Fallen. That's the one that I can think of the clearest, right before he actually dies. But
Yeah.
I'm not really sure which one that is.
I think it literally happens in pretty much every movie. I'm not even kidding. Like I actually think that scene is in every
No, he's pretty away from them in Dark of the Moon.
You're right. I don't know if there's a slow-mo scene with him in it in Dark. I'm trying to think of Battle of Chicago. No, I don't think there is one. Like there are slow motion scenes, but yeah, I don't think with Sam.
Yeah.
Right. But then next we go back to Prime and Ratchet fighting again, and they specifically say that the dark energon exposure is sapping their strength. What is?
And then Optimus is just like, ugh!
Yeah, what is full strength? Because Optimus was going nuts like before that, but then especially after, he is crazy badass in this. Like,
And they had a great shot in that too, where they went first person for him.
mm-hmm.
I thought that was a good shot. That's why I'm saying, like, this episode is just so dynamic with what it does.
His fighting was so impressive, and then like it only got more impressive after that. And you could tell he was angry. He literally ripped a Viacon in half, like actually
Yeah.
picked it up and ripped it in half. That was on
She's
top
like,
of it.
like,
But,
Optimus
Maybe the what's it called again?
Dark Energon.
The Dark Energon has an effect on your mental state, like it makes you more angry or something.
It might. I
They
think that was
explore
more,
that later on.
I think that was more or less the seeing Ratchet like essentially
Yeah.
dying. That
They
did
explore that later on, though, with other Energons, because you go into Green Energon and Red
Red.
Energon in your seasons.
I forgot about Green. I remembered Red. I very much remember Red.
Red was a great episode.
But then I have. Why does that say that? I say, oh, backpack. Seriously? Yeah. Why? Why did Raph go back for his backpack?
I want to bring up something before that.
Oh, okay.
Raph somehow reads Cybertronian.
Yeah.
Okay. In
I
all
wrote that down
honesty,
too.
that is more digestible than him understanding Bumblebee. Because one, there's other Cybertronians that don't always understand Bumblebee. But two, he's been at the base for a little while, so I can
That's
maybe
true.
get that. But the Bumblebee thing before, that was even crazier. But I would say that it's well, for Raph, I wouldn't say it's a stretch. But the fact that he can read Cybertronian, yes. But in all fairness, they've already established he can do things that he shouldn't
I
be
mean,
able
it
to.
feels like in those first few episodes, because they never really touch on any of these like special things that Raph can do besides hacking later on in the series. Like with him making these comments about like going through the space bridge, him reading Cybertronian, him understanding B. Like it almost feels like they were setting up a sorry Sumdax sort of storyline with him, but that just never really happened. Maybe that's just me seeing that, but like they say all these special things with him in the first few episodes, and it just kind of teeters out to nothing.
I think that it would have been better if they were setting up a storyline like that.
It would have.
I think it was just I think it was for plot reasons. They were just like, this is the
Yeah.
super genius kid. He can do it.
It would have been better though if they ended up doing that.
And then they have next. No, I totally agree with that. I have next. Oh, Starscream, because I love the scene where they're all pointing their guns at him, and he's just like, "I'll do it, I'll do it." And then RC's above him like, "Hey, you might not want to." He's like, "I will do it." They fire
I love
one
what
shot
Fowler
at the wall.
says too.
Oh, what does
I
he
love
say?
what
Can we
Fowler
like?
says too.
Is he?
He goes, "Grandma, is it cookie time?" Like,
Yep.
oh
I
my
love
God.
how Bumblebee fires a shot, misses, like does not hit anyone. He doesn't hit Fowler. He doesn't hit the chains on Fowler. He hits like the wall behind them. Does not even Starscream. And then Starscream just like runs away. That's very Starscreamy, which I appreciate. I was just
especially for this show, yeah.
yep. I was just like that was very much him. He was
And I love the shot of him flying off because the Bulkhead like staggers back and he literally just exclaims like, "Whoa!" Like
yeah.
he
Did you
just
see
catches
that
all
his
them off
flame,
guard.
in his flame totally knocked RC over too.
Yeah.
Whenever he bursts away. So yeah. What were you gonna say about Fowler?
I wrote down. Did you guys notice that Fowler was about to rat out the Autobots before he heard fighting outside?
No, he wasn't, because I thought that at first. I was like, does he do that? And I didn't remember. He says all the fake locations. Remember?
Yeah,
They're
but
on
he says the fake he says the fake locations after he hears the fighting.
He wasn't going to. Because that was Starscream that was looking. I am very certain, especially with this character later, he was not going to. Although, I won't lie, I very much got that impression at first.
Okay.
Yeah.
But no, you're not wrong. The way I know that he wasn't, and I still read it. That at first I was like,
It's a really well done scene. It's a well done scene. Guys, though, they're on Dantooine, remember?
Also, they mentioned Megatron being back, and Jack is like, "Wait, Megatron is back? How does he know about Megatron?"
They explained it in the first or second episode, right?
Yeah, they mentioned they're like, if Megatron is truly coming back, like that's terrible, basically.
We're all screwed.
Okay.
Like they mentioned
must
his
have
name
forgot about
like
that, yeah.
once. It was very brief, but they did mention his name, basically saying, Megatron, if he's back, you're screwed. Like you were really screwed. The next thing I have is, how are the kids not dead when they were running away because Raph was an idiot and let his backpack get...
Also, the Viacons are awful shots in that scene. Oh my God.
Okay, they were bad before, but like seriously, 3 kids outrunning a Viacon who was by the door. He was by the door. They like had to run near his feet to do that. Like seriously.
I love the shot with Bulkhead after that though, where Bulkhead just like honks his
Oh
horn,
yeah,
and then
yeah. Jumps
if Bulkhead
over
had been
him, slams him
like
down.
if he hadn't transformed in time, he would have flattened those kids.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
that
then
was a really cool scene.
there was a very good shot. And then the next thing I have is why didn't Megatron shoot Optimus in the face?
Yeah, I want to mention before that Optimus and even Bulkhead does it, and they don't really do this a lot in the series. It's a bit in the first season, but as time goes on, they kind of make it more normal. They climb using only their arms.
Yeah, I noticed that.
But
Yeah.
like later on, you see like them climb using arms and legs. Some of the characters, but like Optimus just literally pulls himself up with just his arms. Like his upper body strength is
He's
ungodly.
Huge. He's huge.
he's ripped.
But
He
my
is
question is,
Swollemus Prime.
when he's doing that, why didn't Megatron flat out shoot him in the face?
Because
he's like,
he's Megatron.
but he was like looking at him, and he's just like, oh man. Oh man! Optimus gets to top and just like whams him straight in the face, and
mean-
he's like, this is just the beginning. See ya.
I mean, they established later on in the series that Megatron very much only likes to give people more gladiators deaths, especially with like stuff in season 3 and all
You're
that.
not wrong. He's not Dreadwing level of honor, but he is certainly up there. You're right. In
Yeah.
terms of wanting a actual fight.
God, I can't wait to get to that fight in season 3.
Which one?
You know, with the Beast Mode one. I don't want to spoil it for John.
Now I'm cool. Now I'm not exactly sure. Wait, what characters are you talking about though?
Him and Predaking, with the comment he makes.
Oh yeah.
That's one of my favorite fights of all time in Transformers.
That's about all I have for this episode. Does anyone else have anything else for this episode?
I thought it was funny how quickly Ratchet is like ready to kick Jack out. How he's like, no time, no need for long goodbyes.
Oh yeah,
Get
I
out.
forgot that. Yeah, and then Jack leaves at the end, and then just comes back in the
And
next one.
he has that scene with Miko at the end, which one of the things I was talking about when he's like building the bike and stuff. It was such a well shot scene. I thought like it was so well shot for a scene that didn't have to be like that. They could have had a static image and it would have been fine, but like the movements of Miko and Jack and like the camera slowly panning to like show them between like the bike spokes and stuff was really good. I thought it was interesting how complacent Jack is though with his place in life.
I also didn't realize that Miko is Japanese, like actually from Japan.
You didn't?
No.
She mentions it multiple times.
Did she say it
Yeah.
earlier? I knew she mentioned her foster
Yeah.
parents. I didn't know that she said they were like living in Japan before that though.
No, I think she mentions it once or twice.
Huh, I didn't realize that before. I knew that she said about the foster parents and everything. I didn't realize,
Maybe I'm wrong.
I didn't realize that she said like I actually lived in Japan. Like I don't know. I just never realized the first time I watched
Yeah.
it. Then episode 5. Basically this is the finish to everything. There's the whole they have to go to space to stop the space bridge from transporting all the dead Cybertronians from Cybertron that Megatron is going to raise.
We gotta go to space to stop space from happening in space.
Yeah, from coming back, and they stop him, and that's pretty
Invading
much
our space.
So first off, handguns. Yeah, the zombies, whenever it shows them in the vision of them taking over Earth, they can literally shoot out of their palms.
Yeah,
Why didn't they do that in the fight with Optimus Prime?
because they're Iron Man.
No, that's exactly
Maybe
what I
these
thought
are
that was.
different. Maybe these
They're
are
the
different.
same exact model, but I mean, like literally, like the CGI model is the exact same.
I mean,
but
well, the ones we see there in the vision have like weapons, like that are distance. But in the ones that Optimus and Ratchet fight, they very much have pure melee weapons, as far as I could tell.
no, they didn't have weapons in the vision. They were literally shooting from the palms of their hands.
Oh wow, the ones that fought Optimus and Ratchet had
Actual
melee
melee
weapons.
weapons, yeah. I
So
thought they just had claws.
no, I think in the end of the 3rd episode, some of them do rise up with weapons either in
Oh.
them or in their hands.
Gotcha. Also,
So-
the score was very nice to the very
Yes.
opening. I've already said multiple times that I love the score throughout all of these episodes, but
And
like
it is
literally-
all on Spotify if you want to listen to it.
But that moment, like I think it was during the opening, and I think literally that vision that I was just like, wow, that was really really good.
Yeah.
And then next thing, So using the ground bridge will be a massive, massive risk.
Oh,
to
I
send
want
you
to discuss
space.
something before that.
Okay,
Actually,
gotcha.
the Jack and RC scene. I actually really enjoyed that scene. Like how RC's like, I don't know if it's me or if it's the grief, but I kind of need you around right now. And I thought that was very interesting. That they make it seem like RC's progressing as a character, and it's not just because she likes Jack, it's also because she needs someone there for her as well. And I thought that was very interesting. They humanize her a bit there.
Yeah, I think they do a good job of that. A better job than I remember of it
Yeah.
in terms of humanizing
I
her.
completely forgot about that scene, to be honest.
Yeah, because in all honesty, I remember that she struggles with the whole partner thing, like for a long
And it's a thing
time.
throughout the entire series.
Yeah, exactly. Like that does not go away. So I didn't remember how much they actually did humanize it, especially in the beginning. Like
Yeah.
they did, which I thought was also it was definitely well done.
Yeah. And then before the space bridge, or before the ground bridge thing, they just built a space bridge in like 2 days.
No,
Like,
they had that space bridge.
oh, they had it already?
That's the space bridge that Megatron came through to begin with.
I thought it was a different one. All
No,
right,
same
never
exact
mind
one. Yeah. So they had space bridge technology this whole time. Why they didn't just start out there, I don't know. Like why?
I mean, I thought it was a different one
He
because they were
needed-
discussing the schematics and having it ready and stuff. So,
No, because it already was ready. It was the schematics of
all right, I
they
misinterpreted.
had
that.
them up there to run it, so that way they could send them to Cybertron.
I got you. I
But,
got you.
Yeah, no, the plans were basically up there for convenience. But the Autobots, they ground bridge into space, which Ratchet also he says like it's very unlikely this will work. Like you could all get scattered throughout space. No, it works perfectly. Like they literally just like it's a big risk, but we have to, which is understandable. But like it just works perfectly. They're not even like slightly scattered. Like if it would have been like, oh, I'm over here, I'm over here, I'm over here, like maybe,
Yeah.
but nothing. I was like, okay.
They drive through space like the Unicron trilogy.
Yes.
One of my thoughts
they kind
was
of just like floated and then
Yeah.
they transformed.
it looks like they're driving though through this.
No,
space
it very
bridge,
much did.
but one of my thoughts
Yeah.
was, why don't they are in an old missile silo, all right?
Uh huh.
Why don't they take, like, there must be parts lying around. They must have kept parts. Why not build a missile and shoot themselves into space? Less risk, I'd say.
Most missiles made for blowing stuff up aren't really designed to go
But this is
into
them.
high Earth orbit.
They could find a way to modify it. It's them. It was just like a funny thought, because I just want to see Optimus Prime standing on an ICBM, but...
I think it's more or less like they can't just ride on a missile because they do try to keep it somewhat realistic, and there's no way a missile would keep them.
That's
carry
true.
them. I am curious why they never even attempt to build a ship, though.
Yeah, because they are in an abandoned missile silo. There must be some form of, like, rocket engineering parts that they could use
Or
to build
parts
something.
from the Ark somewhere, maybe. I don't know.
And
But,
they also find that abandoned plague ship later, which they find, like...
and Wheeljack
Yeah.
shows up.
Yeah, you know what?
Wheeljack's
Who
got a
knows?
ship. But yeah, either way.
Okay.
Next thing I have is Raph hacked the government, but he can't hack
Again.
into the satellites. No, not this time. He can't hack into. Well, I mean, I guess it is the government. Still,
Their
but
firewall's too thick.
Yeah,
with
the
a double,
firewall's
triple
too-
C.
he can't hack into the satellites, but he could hack into like military secret agent stuff, which you think would be better protected because, like, satellites are just looking at stuff. Secret agents are like actually undercover, like can die, like there's military operations going on, but these are satellites just like looking. It's not like the nukes. It's not like they're trying to gain access to nukes. It's just the satellites, which are just
Yep.
looking. Which, by the way,
Yeah.
if these satellites can look at Cybertron, why don't the humans know about Cybertron? Just
Also,
saying.
there's like no security to the point where Miko even
Yeah,
comments
I
on it.
love how they had that.
Yeah.
Like, that was honestly like a slight wall break, because it was like basically a line to the audience, like, "Ha, that's
I
convenient."
mean, it would have been interesting if they implied that like Soundwave had wiped them all out or something.
It's possible that they could.
They kind
that
of did whenever they showed the shot in the one room with the Viacom, no Soundwave,
Yeah, the Soundwave.
and the random soldier laying unconscious or
Oh,
dead.
was it-
I didn't
was
even
there-
see that.
I didn't see the soldier. Okay, then that's
Yeah, there
totally
was a soldier laying on the ground there right beside him.
Well, look
Okay.
at John with the new perspective.
I was gonna say you totally caught that. Neither of us did. That's interesting. I thought it was just a plot hole. I love Soundwave. This is actually one of the moments that I remember pretty well, like from seeing it the first time.
Yeah.
Although to be honest, I remembered the humans putting up more of a fight than they actually did.
Yeah, I remember that too.
I really thought that they actually like kind of beat Soundwave. They didn't, not at all. Which I'm glad they didn't, because that was something that I like didn't like, that the humans were actually able to fend off Soundwave. They weren't. They didn't die, but it wasn't a like, hey, we cut off his arm and like, yay, we.
Yeah, for some reason I
saved
thought
it.
that happened. I don't
Yeah,
know why,
I
but I
really thought
thought
they
that
did. I
happened.
remember the axe. I did not remember Soundwave taking the axe and then winning. But yeah, he
And
got out.
cutting the hard line, and that was a really good shot too, like of him just kind of not even looking, and his tentacle arm just goes
I
whoosh
love
into
that.
the ground.
I love that. He does that all the time, where he doesn't even look
Yeah.
and he does something super cool. Just
Such a badass without
Soundwave
being one.
was so great. Oh my.
Yeah,
God.
I don't understand how they didn't notice the huge, gigantic camera right on the wall in front of them.
Wait, I don't know what you're talking about.
In the top left
There's-
corner, there was a camera looking at them, and they just kind of like didn't think about it. They
Oh,
just
the
kind
security
of
camera. I mean, they
Yeah.
are kids, so I mean, I feel like I don't know. I
But
feel
the-
like if
but
they already walked around and
Raph's
noticed, like,
there.
true, but like, oh, you mean like Raph? Why didn't he look at the security cameras that are all over the building?
Well, it's just like, obviously, it's a top government secret facility. Even if it's not the Decepticons that's going to be hacking into it, there's going to be people looking at the cameras.
Also, why are they using like 1970s cameras?
Good question. Maybe that facility is just old. It really needs
Maybe.
renovated.
But I like that though, where they were like, he just cuts the hard line and that's it.
I love how they took mutual pictures too. It's like, here,
Oh,
picture.
yeah.
I got a picture of you too, which I didn't realize that Soundwave took a picture of them.
He
Which
is like
very
the
much- What?
he's like the most charismatic yet least charismatic Soundwave.
Yes. Oh my God. He is such a departure from. But
He's
at
the
same
most charismatic.
But at the same time, he totally captures the essence of Soundwave, for me at least. Like, it's a very radical change for how that character typically is, but I think it's honestly one of the best versions.
When was the last time we saw Soundwave besides like in live action before that?
Before that?
Yeah, in cartoons. It would be
Cyber-
animated, right?
Oh, yeah, I was going to say Cybertron. No, it's animated,
Yeah.
which is pretty different.
Yeah. So they went very different a lot of times. Like up until that point, I don't think
Although,
Soundwave
in terms
was
of
the-
design, I think this is the most different design.
Oh, this is the most different design,
It
but
has
like in
nothing-
terms
yeah,
of
it has nothing to do with G1.
the characterization of Soundwave,
Changing it up. I feel like
I
this is the first
Yeah.
time they've taken it this direction.
yeah,
But no,
they've
you're
always
not
gone
wrong.
different directions. Like
Yeah, it's gone pretty.
you have the like Cybertron was a very big departure from G1.
Yeah.
Animated was a big departure from like all of them are very big departures from their originals. But I'd say of all of them, like this Soundwave is probably the closest to the original. Not in
Yeah.
terms of like how he is, but just like how he is towards Megatron and stuff.
Yeah, in terms of
So-
loyalty and everything. But yeah, I just like that they took pictures of each other. Then I thought it was interesting. Megatron just literally throws the giant hunk of dark energy on
And
the Cybertron.
Also, how does Optimus Prime not hit that? 4 million years in a war, and you don't know how to lead a target. He hits the little like.
Wait,
brought
I
to
thought
life
he
piece of
did. I
equipment.
thought he did hit it a few times. Like I
It
just
looked like
did-
he was missing to me.
I don't know. I couldn't tell the.
It was such a weird shot, but it looked like he was missing every time he shot it.
Either way,
and-
and if he was missing, then that's odd they did it. They could have just made it that he was shooting it and it just kept going because it was a massive hunk of dark energon. Like
Yeah.
a few blaster bolts are not going to stop it.
But
It
Um,
did
like-
seem like it was missing to me.
Yeah, it looked like it, and I'm
okay,
like,
I couldn't tell.
I'm
It
like,
was pretty
4
fuzzy at
million
that moment.
years. 4 million years in a war, and you don't know how to lead a goddamn target. Like I'm just like,
Meanwhile,
how
he
did
was
you hit
killing it
anything?
earlier. He was literally destroying
Exactly.
it. But
He-
in all
like,
fairness, I think that they literally could have just had him shooting it and just it didn't.
oh yeah,
stop
no,
because
that
of
would have made the scene a lot better. Like I
Better,
would have been
yeah.
fine with that, but like they literally just made him miss like 5 shots in a row.
Uh-huh.
And I get that it's plot, but you could have done like what you suggested and have him shoot it and it do nothing. Like show how strong Dark Energon is compared to normal Energon.
Next thing I have is what. This is because they didn't know their plans for the character, but there's someone residing on Cybertron right now. How did he not notice or not be affected by this in the slightest? Do you know who I'm talking about?
I know who you're talking about. I don't think John does, but
No,
I think
that's
a lot of
okay.
viewers,
I don't want John to know because that would
I
be a
think a lot
spoiler.
of viewers will know. I would say
Starts with an S.
they don't even reference it when he shows up either.
No, that's what I realized because I never realized that before because it'd been so long. It's a while till he shows up. But yeah, they don't even reference the fact that
I mean,
yeah, like while I was on Cybertron, all the dead bodies got up and flew away.
I mean, with it being him, he would probably just assume nothing of it afterwards because all of them are just wiped out immediately. So it would be inconsequential, I guess.
I still feel like he might bring that up. I don't
Yeah,
know.
and I kind of hate that they didn't because they do callbacks in this show a lot. To
Yeah,
earlier
that's something
stuff.
they're really good about, and I just realized now that I don't think they mentioned. I mean, maybe it's possible that he mentioned something maybe he says a small oh, you know, I was there, but there's a disturbance or something. Like maybe I'm curious to see later whenever he shows
Hey, that's
up
how he came back.
if he hints at it or anything. But yeah, that'd be funny if that actually was how he came back. It's
Yeah.
turns out he
But
actually was dead. But
They really dropped like some just G1 references into this episode where Ratchet's just like, let us light our darkest hour. And I'm
darkest
just
hour.
like,
Yep, have that
he
written
said it,
down.
and then Optimus is like, one shall stand, one shall fall. And I'm like waiting for Megatron to just go, why throw away your life so recklessly?
Meanwhile, it's Megatron that literally does so in this episode. He dies. If I
Yeah.
forgot to mention that in the.
And they do that line like multiple times throughout the series as well, to the point where Megatron just starts cutting off Optimus and calling him a fool.
Yep.
Like,
That's something I really like about this. Also, something else I have is this is kind of just in general with the Dark Energon. Why isn't Unicron aware / why doesn't he possess him?
well, John doesn't know about that stuff yet, so...
No. But John doesn't know the whole deal with Unicron, but it is stated that it's Unicron's blood, and you know what I'm talking about.
I mean, they reveal that later when he, like, actually becomes part of the story, which is the end of this season, right? Yeah.
Yeah, they reveal why he wasn't able to do anything with the Dark Energon earlier. I didn't realize that. Like, I know that Unicron becomes a deal later. But
They kind of say it because he's asleep during the time, so that's kind of
I know,
like their
I feel like this should have woken him up, but
It's whatever. I mean, my biggest gripe with this episode was how the hell did the zombies get off Cybertron?
they are magical flying zombies that can shoot out of their palms. They just Iron Manned. They Iron Manned up because they
Oh
can
my
shoot out of their palms.
God.
They literally just are like, psh.
That's how they get off Cybertron. That's how they make it out of orbit somehow.
Yep.
It takes us, like, just so many rockets to get us out of orbit, and then they're just like, we're gonna Iron Man out of here.
Was
Yep.
Unicron the big spike things in the last movie?
Yes, the last night. Yes, actually, that's something you'll see. The movies actually stole something from Prime. Well, I say stole. They took an element from Prime with that. Unicron is one of the 2 Transformers in Transformers that is a planet.
Yes.
Like, he is the anti. He's
How
essentially
familiar are you with Transformers, John? I've never asked.
not very. He's just seen the
I've only
movies.
seen the movies, and
Essentially-
I don't remember half of them.
Essentially, their planet Cybertron is like basically God, like Primus.
Not in this. Well, yes, in every continuity, he essentially is. It's a matter of if he comes to life or not.
Yeah, and it's not literally. That's why I'm saying he's basically God. And Unicron is essentially the Antichrist, if you just want to simple it.
I would go more devil, but
He's like literally a mirror.
No,
kinda,
it's-
but
The Antichrist is really just the devil disguised as the sun. So
see, the thing is with Transformers, it's so weird if you try to put that symbolism on it, because like you could argue that in the aligned continuity, the Fallen is the devil because he's the one that gets cast out for misdeeds.
yeah, kinda. Although
But Unicron's,
is
like, still a thing.
He's the ultimate evil. But although they've also in the aligned continuity, if you didn't know this, in the first episode of Misaligned, our aligned continuity podcast,
wow.
where they break it down, which actually, John, you might want to listen to that because that's like talking about stuff before Transformers Prime, like the history.
It like fits
Okay.
loosely, but it's good knowledge.
Well,
to have.
actually, the stuff in the first episode fits pretty solidly.
Covenant
for
of Prime, the Covenant of Primus fits very well.
Yeah,
The moment
that's
you
what
hit the novels and the video games, you're
That's
like,
when
oh,
it
where are
gets-
we going?
That gets a bit messy. They've kind of cleared it up a little bit in RID with some of the problems, but not the biggest ones. But
Like Grimlock.
yeah, Grimlock's a big one. The body changing, they totally cover, but also just the plot hole, the holes in between the novels and then Prime. It's
Yeah.
just like what happened. But basically, Unicron is totally evil. He's a planet, and there's Primus. But like I said, check out Misaligned Episode 1 if you want more of that. But that's I just wanted to bring that up, is that I thought it was interesting that, yeah, Unicron is not, like, they don't even have a tease for him in this. Meanwhile, he will come back later. Next thing I have is it just me, or does Megatron's head, you wouldn't know this, John, because you aren't familiar with the toy or the design super well, but Megatron's jet mode, like his Cybertronian jet mode, where his head is, like his robot mode head,
Yeah.
it looks like R2-D2. Like how a
Yes,
astromech
it does.
droid fits into a Jedi starfighter. Like, that is what it looks like, which I
Yeah, it
never
does.
realized before, and now I really like it.
Yeah, I like it.
Next thing I have is no risk again whenever they come back. Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, just making sure because Skype messed up for me for a second. Like everything just reset for a second.
Yeah, it glitched, but we're good. The recording's still going.
Good.
But there's no risk again. They just teleport straight back and everything's
I
fine.
want to mention that I really liked the imagery with Megatron and the army. Like
Oh,
with
how
them
they're-
reaching through and
out.
touching.
Oh, almost like just old classical painting with, like, you know, a
Yes,
human
with
the
God
spark,
and
yeah, the spark of God.
yeah.
Which I did like that imagery, and then it blows up and they
Also,
die.
Starscream is such a backstabbing ass.
Oh, in all
He is-
fairness, that actually wasn't. I don't know. I don't think that was a backstabbing
No.
move.
I meant the scene where he like goes all hail Starscream, not leaving
Oh,
Megatron.
yeah. I was
He's
gonna
like,
say,
all
I'm
hail
leaving Megatron
Starscream.
because he even tells him, he's like, "Get back here! Like, you were going to
Yeah,
die.
but no,
Get
I
back
love
here."
that scene though, where it zooms in on Starscream's face and he just looks up and he's like, "Oh, hail Starscream!"
Yeah, I did like that. That's very Starscreamy,
It's
and
such
we
a
are gonna
great-
get into that.
I wrote that down.
Yes, I love that. Also, if you couldn't tell, John, guess what? Megatron's probably not going to stay dead forever. Believe
Well,
it or
he
not.
never is. That's the whole
Yeah.
theme in the movies. He dies every single movie and comes back the next one.
It's more like every other, but yes.
We thought we were gonna finally get something good with Galvatron, but they got rid of him after a movie.
I thought they were going to do something really good in the last night. They didn't.
Yeah.
I thought they were.
we
gonna make
all
him
thought
kinda-
they were gonna do something good with the last night.
I really thought they were going to make him anti-hero-ish, but no, they didn't. Like, to fight Prime, but we'll see. But yeah, then you get the good quote at the end.
I want to mention how Ratchet, when they bring RC back and she's like really injured, he just kind of stands there after saying
Yeah.
like, "I already let one die. I don't want to let another die."
Yeah, I like how
and
you're just
she's
like-
just like sitting there in Bumblebee's arms. And then Jack walks up and he's just like, "You were my first." I'm like, "This is weird."
I know. I did think it was a little weird, but
That whole scene just went so weird because it's like very clear that they just kind of like shoehorned this end, or not shoehorned, but like really tried to wrap this ending together really quick because they're like, "Oh my God, RC's dying," right? Just like, "I don't want another one to die." Jack's like, "You were my first, RC." And then RC just gets up and she's completely fine. And
I
I'm like,
know.
"Oh."
I also found it very interesting whenever he was reporting their life signals that, like, everyone was literally like full charge. It wasn't even like, oh, they're halfway down and then she's really low. No, she's at like 10% or less, and
Because none
everyone's
of them
at like.
took damage besides like Optimus, but even then Optimus took such minimal damage.
But they were still like
Isn't
fighting. And
isn't
stuff. I feel like
Ratchet,
it should have been a little lower.
a medic?
Yes, Ratchet is a medic, and he just sat there watching one of his patients die. So, until she got up and was fine.
Yep.
Yeah, I was
I do
pretty
wanna
sure that it
mention-
was because he mentions in the last one, right before Optimus and Ratchet fight alongside each other, that he might need some medical
Medic,
help.
Yeah.
Yep. Ratchet is the medic. He's also the tech guy, but his real purpose is medic.
Yeah. I do want to say that with Optimus taking minimal damage, Optimus' blade gets cut in half, and that happens so many times throughout this series, it's ridiculous. He must have such a reserve of those blades.
I feel like they just put it back together. Like they just meld it. I don't know.
Nah, because like he definitely lost the other half this time around. But like,
Oh,
it
you're
also-
right. No, you're right. Yeah, because he definitely lost it this time. But you're right. That's a pretty common theme of.
It
Optimus
also
Prime.
makes me question, like, I always question this throughout the series. How does that work? do the hands transform into it? Like, because it's clear that he has his full hand when it's
I
on.
don't
It's
think
like,
so because I think it's like movie universe where it's also in his
yeah,
forearm. Because like movie
that's what
universe,
it seems
his
like.
hands aren't replaced. Like they're replaced by the hook, but his hands don't literally transform into the hook.
Yeah,
Whenever he has the swords, his hands stay out. Unlike this series, but the swords come out of his forearms.
yeah.
The way
I've
I
always thought that
see
was
it.
interesting, though.
Yeah, in all honesty, it's just however they want it. In G1, your hand could become anything.
Whatever
Literally
you
anything.
wanted. You want an axe? Here you go. You
For
want a
the
whip?
for
Hey,
the
why
plot
not?
hole, yeah. For the plot reasons that everyone's hand could turn into anything at any moment. So I feel like in this
That'll
series,
be a fun
it's
series to talk about
it's
eventually.
handled a little better. But yeah, it is a little like eh. But then you
But yeah,
get to end it with something that is very much a movie trope that they
yeah,
stole.
the '07 speech I wrote down.
Yeah, he sends out a message. Which who is he sending it to?
I think just in general, like, I mean, that's what I assumed it was in the movies as well, as that he
Like,
just
but
like
in the
kind of like,
movies, he's sending it to anyone who's listening, like anyone that's coming. But like in Prime, it was like kind of like bragging how like yeah we won.
well, no, he goes into anyone who comes here looking for a fight, we'll defend
Oh
ourselves.
yeah, the Decepticons. But I don't know. So like basically that was the anti-movie message because the movie message was like, hey Autobots, we're here. Like come here,
I
let's
mean, the
party.
movie message was also like, "Come for us and we'll kill you." But
No, first one. First movie was not.
oh yeah, no,
First movie
later
was
on though,
very
I mean,
much
like
like, hey,
Optimus very much went, "We're gonna kill everyone."
actually, no, I don't think he ever said that. And the fourth one's the only one that's like mean, and that's one where he says to the creators, "I'm coming for you."
Yeah, I'm killing people.
He
No,
doesn't
but
say I'm gonna kill you. He's just like, "I'm angry that you sent this guy who
anytime
impaled me."
anytime Optimus Prime speaks in the movies, I just assume these like the subtle undertones of what he's saying is I'm gonna eventually take your face. That's what I'm assuming he's actually saying.
But it was handled pretty well in this, even though
Yeah.
it's funny because this is like a more violent message than literally any of the ones Prime sends. 'Cause
Despite
this
the
is
fact that this one is more, I would say, reserved when it comes to violence than the
yeah,
movie one.
exactly. I think it's handled much better. It doesn't come off as like, man, he's a murderous like thing. Like he literally is just like we will fight whatever Decepticons come.
Except when he gets angry, then he literally just tears people in half.
Yeah, but in all fairness, I think they handle it way better than Movie Prime.
Yeah.
And I still like Movie Prime, so you know there is that. But I'm just saying that I think that in this show,
Well, Eric, you're welcome to your wrong opinions.
they show. I never said it was good. I never said it was good. Don't twist my words. Um,
All right.
but I mean that's like what I was saying about your movie choices earlier. Like I understand
That's
liking
that's
bad
true.
things. That's totally that. But it's different to like something that's bad.
That's
than
very
claim
true.
something is good. Like those
That's
are two.
you
very
didn't specify he was bad though. That's why I was questioning
No,
you.
no, no. That's why I just said I like him.
All right, good.
Not saying he's good. But yeah, they very much handle it better in this series where he has like moments of anger and like more than most primes, but they deal with it so much better. Like they
Yeah.
actually still make him seem like Optimus Prime and stuff. So
This
Yeah.
is far from my favorite Optimus though, to be honest. I know a lot of people were like, "This is my favorite Optimus." I'm like, I find him rather boring.
I think he's definitely still my favorite. He's holding up so far for me. And in all honesty, I don't remember liking him. Like I liked him, but I didn't remember liking him a lot until
I like G1 Optimus
later,
a lot more, to be honest.
But I don't.
Well, you know what? You're
I
welcome
like,
to your
I
wrong
like,
opinion.
I like G1, but like literally, he's the same exact character in every episode. There's no character.
That's the
progression
point.
with him.
I mean, I also like Rodimus as a leader more than Optimus in G1, and a lot of people just on that.
Ooh, you're wrong. Although
Ooh.
you know the best version of Rodimus is Titan's Return, where he's just like, man, I suck at being Prime. I'm just not gonna be Prime anymore. Like,
Well, that's what he was like in the original show
No,
as well.
but he literally but it's not like I wish I wasn't Prime. He literally hands away the Matrix to nobody.
That's very true, but they
He
didn't
just
have like
goes-
the aspects of
he
that in the
goes-
original.
No, but he at least didn't give up his role in the original. Like in this.
No,
he's
yes, he
literally-
did. The moment someone took the Matrix from him, he was like, "Yeah, I'm done. See ya." Like there was literally an episode all about that.
But he didn't. I don't. But someone took it from him. That's a big difference from
That's true.
literally
I would
walking
argue,
in a
though,
room.
that you couldn't really do that in the original because it was so much more of a sacred thing in the original.
I think it's still. I don't know. I think that
I
it
would
just
say in
shows how
Titan's
much
Return,
more-
nothing is sacred.
I don't know. I just thought it was. I was just like, wow. He literally walked into a room, was like, put down the Matrix, and
Hey
literally
guys, I
be
know
like,
you can't hear me over the music you're singing, but you want to just like take the Matrix
yeah,
from me
the
so I can
original
just dive
primes are
off?
like, you can't do that. Like, you're the prime, you need to be the prime, and he's just like, no, no, here's the Matrix. I'm leaving. Bye. And then they're like, you
That
can't,
would have been an interesting G1 episode.
you can't do that. As he like walks out, and then he's just like, oh, well,
And he's
pay.
missing an arm, but completely, totally transforms into a car perfectly fine.
And they're like, oh, we might need well, he like gains his arm back once he turns into
Oh
hot
yeah, that's right.
magically.
How that works, I don't know, but hey.
But he
Getting
just,
off topic here.
I was gonna say they're just like, oh, let's page Optimus again. Optimus, you can have the Matrix. That's cool. Until they kill
Optimus is like, my pager's beeping. This thing hasn't beeped since the 90s.
him. But yeah, so that's about it for this episode, I think. Anyone else have anything?
Nah,
Nope,
but now
not
we
really.
get to like the actual stuff afterwards.
What?
Now we get into the actual stuff afterwards.
Yeah, this was just the opener. Now we are getting into the actual show. So
What is the next episode, I wonder? I'm gonna check real quick.
I don't remember, but while you do that, I will.
Masters and Students. Oh, the next one is not Dreadwing, Skyquake.
I was gonna say it is not Dreadwing. Yeah. Oh, the next
Yeah.
one is Skyquake. I did not realize that he popped up so quickly. I knew that he was
Yeah.
relatively soon. I didn't know he was the first episode after the opener. So that's interesting.
I didn't realize that either.
So we're gonna do probably the next 2 episodes.
You want to do the next two? All right.
Probably. We'll see. Just to keep it long enough for a podcast format. But yeah, definitely make sure to check back for that. Also follow us at Nerdy Geek Talk on Twitter. And also check out Steel City Bots if you want. But like I said, the partner show that I was plugging earlier, Misaligned, that is the Aligned Continuity show. And several people like that so far. So definitely go give that a listen, because that should be interesting. And it has to do with the continuity in here. Not necessarily, they aren't near the events in Prime yet. They're basically talking about the creation story of the Transformers. Like basically Adam and Eve level stuff. So definitely go take a listen to that if you want to know more about the background to the show that we're talking about, not necessarily directly events during it. You can find me at Aramis Prime on Instagram for Deskbots, or at Air Crowbar on Twitter, which is where I do a lot of my talking. Where can people find you, Aaron?
You can find me at Mariasha, which is Maroyasha, on pretty much every platform, Twitter, here on YouTube, and Instagram. I want to post my Instagram some more. I put a lot of stuff on Twitter. And on my YouTube channel, I just put up my Lost Light 14 review, and I might drop some stuff about that in Awesome Asylum for like 2 minutes when we discuss what new stuff we got. So check out Awesome Asylum, and also if you're interested, check out my Lost Light 14 review.
Yep, Awesome Asylum should be up the day after this goes up. So.
And we are talking about all the trailers that just dropped.
Yeah, lots of them. Some better than others. John, where can people find you?
Find me on Twitter at Darth_Forge.
Alrighty, and I think that's about it. So thanks for listening, and definitely check out all our other stuff. We will be doing Toy Fair coverage if you're interested, just because I know a lot of people for Transformers stuff. You can listen. We'll definitely talk about more about the definitive plan on Steel City Bots this new episode coming up. But we're probably going to have something on the weekend of Toy Fair, talking about Toy Fair. Also, Radio Free Cybertron does live streams. We won't actually do a live stream, so if you want to see the stuff,
we're just going to be watching that.
We say, oh yeah, I should be on at least one of them probably. So you can definitely check those out. That's about it. So thanks for listening. Bye.
See ya.